Hello, you amazing beings! Welcome to our sample chart reading. I am going to cast a random chart from a moment in history, and then I'm going to let you know how I see the chart and how I might read the chart if it was for a client of mine. When I do astrology readings, they are often an hour or an hour and a half or even 2 hours. We don't have that kind of time on YouTube. I don't have that kind of battery life, but what today is going to be is like an introduction into how I'm looking at the chart. If you like this format of video, let me know in the comments below and we can make more videos like this very soon. Let's get started. All right, so in front of me, I have astro.com and we have the birth data entry screen. We'll name this person Nick. And Nick is going to be born on the 17th of November in 1917 at 9:11 p.m. in Paris, France. Oh my gosh, poor Nick! Oh no! Why did I say poor Nick? Nick has a Saturn-Neptune conjunction right on his ascendant. Having Saturn in the first house can be a little bit difficult. It can kind of force the person to feel like there's sort of more pressure around them or force them into a position of being like an authority figure in their family, or cause like aches and pains and bone issues and stuff like that in their physical body, even starting at a very young age. The first thing I look at is what houses are lit up by personal planets. And the personal planets are the 7 visible planets. And if Nick was born in 1917, those would be the only planets that we were really aware of. So this Saturn in the first would be super, super strong. I see straight away that this man has a 6th house stellium. He is going to be forced to be of service in this world. And given Saturn in the 1st house and having Venus and the moon and the nodes in the 6th house, I would guess that this man is either going to be a doctor or he is going to have a serious disease. That's what I would guess. Illness, medicine, the physical body is going to be a huge, huge, huge theme for this man in this life. And there is also the theme of responsibility very strong. I see right away that his sun is in Scorpio and it is in the 4th house, meaning that again, I see responsibility written all over this chart. I see responsibility to the family. So I would notice right away that the sun is the ruler of his chart and the sun is falling in the 4th house. So I would be shocked if he was not a father. And I would suspect he would probably go on to be a grandfather as well. That's just a sense that I have. And I would see him as being a parent because he does have a personal planet that is in the 5th house of children. And this planet is Mercury. So he could be involved in a way of bringing up a child who maybe turns out to be a teacher or runs a business or is involved in commerce, and he might have an extra special role in nurturing the development of this child. So the houses that are very lit up by personal planets, again, I see him here as like a teacher and a responsible authority figure. Why? It's hard not to notice right away. I read in whole sign houses, his midheaven doesn't fall in the 10th, it falls in the 9th house. And the 9th house is the place of higher education. So his career, well, his career actually is ruled by Mars. And Mars is in Virgo. Oh my gosh, this man has a very intense life. Mars is in Virgo in the 2nd house. You could say it's like a writer or a teacher, but I see doctor. I see doctor who also teaches at a university and is involved in the education of other students. This man has a Jupiter that matches my own. You guys, Jupiter is about to return to Gemini. Oh, we're almost there. This man has a Jupiter with the part of fortune, which would have been considered carefully. I definitely consider sign-based conjunctions. So Nick would have the part of fortune, which is like, well, okay, that's a whole nother video, but core significations, it can be one's joy, but it certainly represents fate, God-given fate or lots. But when I see it with Jupiter, to me, that's positive, and it's falling in the 11th house, which is hopes, dreams, people who can help you get there, friendship. So I would say that this person is well connected and loved and appreciated in the community and has a circle of supporters around him. He probably has a lot of weight on his shoulders with Saturn there on the ascendant and this 6th house stellium and a very busy working life plus supporting the children and everything like that. That's probably a lot, but this is a man who probably belongs to clubs, organizations, and is surrounded by supportive others. The Noes. Oh no, the Noes. This is a hard one, but it's okay. Like, it's all right, I guess. Like, it's okay, but well, good thing Nick's not here because he might be shocked by this reading. His South Node is in the 12th house. I see that as being characteristically difficult because it means the person struggles with worry, fear, anxiety, and has difficulty often grounding into day-to-day life. I would suspect a great deal of suffering in Nick's most recent incarnation, being face to face with death in some way. He may have had a past life where he had a tragic death, or he had an early death, or there was mental illness that was caused, for example, by physical illness, but that wasn't known at the time. And somehow, some way in this life with the 6th house North Node, he's meant to take an evolutionary step. Maybe he makes discoveries about the physical body and comes to carry forward, perhaps for people who have a disease similar to the one that he had or died of in the prior incarnation, he may help them to take a step forward. And I would see for anybody with this nodal axis, 12th house, 6th house, there's a body-mind connection or exploration going on here. So even now, still today, like we tend to think mental health issue, physical health issue. But those things are very, very related. It's very hard for a person, for example, who has a serious mental health disorder not to experience eventually ill physical health, perhaps due to not taking care of themselves. But the reverse is also true. Anybody who's been very sick, especially for a long time, knows eventually that really wears down the mind. And so there's something here about that connection. He has Chiron in the 8th house. Now that may not have been considered very much in 1917, but I do see it. And I see it retrograde, which means that it can be an internalized Chiron, which means that to a certain extent, this man is still suffering, which of course he is. Pluto conjunct the South Node in the 12th house. Of course he is. Now, he does have the Moon conjunct the North Node with Venus, and it's in Capricorn, so Spirit is trying to help him. He would have had the South Node in Cancer, so he would have had probably quite intense emotions leading to mental health issues in a prior incarnation. So there's help there, but I still do see with Chiron in the 8th house, I see that special sensitivity to the sufferings of others, the secrets of others. This is someone who, as a doctor, he's a doctor, okay? And a professor, right? Like, as a doctor, this man, he would be the type of doctor where he goes and sees people in their house because Sun in the 4th house, plus it's 1917 and all doctors do that. And then people are telling them their sufferings, which still happens to doctors. Some of you will know I have a mysterious affliction. As a result of that, I've gotten to know on a personal level many physicians, and people will tell them their secrets and their extreme darkness because there's that trusted relationship. and it can be extremely burdensome. That's another topic, whole topic of video that I would like to speak about, which is, a video for regular people about how to relate to doctors and a video for doctors about how to relate to patients, because I've done a lot of thinking on that. But this is a man who, like, as a doctor, he would be so sensitive. He probably would suffer quite a bit. But he would be very well connected to friends and groups of people, and he would probably have a lot of love for teaching, learning, and that sort of work that he was doing. I could see this man as being like a doctor that's like surrounded by all the residents, and they like hold on to like everything that he says, and he just loves it. Even though he would, especially with that Chiron in the 8th house, he would see a lot of patients die. He would also save a lot of lives. And especially with the Mars in the 2nd house, there'd be a lot of people that were really pulled into serious illnesses and injuries. And he would be very good at helping them fight the diseases. I mean, I don't want this to be too long, but that's like a starting place of how I would see the chart. You know, things that I look at right away, like I said, what houses contain personal planets, because that's going to show you right then and there what areas of life this person is exploring. Most people have some stelliums. Those house areas are extremely important. Then I would see the chart ruler, the ruler of the ascendant. So this man has a Leo ascendant. We saw Saturn on the ascendant right away. The ruler of the ascendant is the sun. The sun is in the 4th house. So like that stuff I look at very heavily, and the angles and the nodes, and yeah. But this is an introduction to Nick. It's weird to think in this moment that Nick is probably a real man. I'm getting creeped out, you guys, like holy crap. That did not occur to me. I bet you on Saturday, November 17th in 1917, that a man named Nicholas was born in Paris, France around 9:11 p.m. Oh my gosh, I'm getting chills. And I bet you he was a physician and a father of a beloved child that in some way went and carried on his legacy and teachings. And I bet that he was connected to a beautiful circle of individuals who supported and uplifted him, but he had a great deal of responsibility on his shoulders and was involved in fighting serious diseases and also serving as a safe place for the secrets of his patients. And although he was probably extremely hard on himself and there was a lot of expectations for who he was, he probably was successful in both fighting disease but also being compassionate. And I would guess that he was not only a strong father figure to his own child or children, but that he also carried that fatherly energy as a physician every single day of his life. And he probably had some pets, because 6th house stellium, I'd guess he probably had like a little dog or something too. That's a little bit about Nicholas, and that's a little bit about how I read the chart. I hope you liked this video. It was fun to make, and yeah, just wishing you all an amazing week. Many blessings to you. Namaste. One last note. You can make any of my readings an astrology reading. Just let me know when you reach out, so you can take a classic reading, make it an astrology reading. Q&A reading, make it an astrology reading. Email reading, make it an astrology reading. Any reading can be made into an astrology reading. Okay, bye!